And that is an illusion that they are happy to foster upon the people who are consuming their goods and services, and they certainly are goods and services that they have to sell. Furthermore, from a tax standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to not pay herself a salary from the foundation, but instead have whatever kind of income she's drawing out of another entity, most like for instance the New Trends Publishing entity. You would want to do that because if the since the foundation cannot pay out, make any kind of distributions to its owners, there are tax consequences to that. If she would have to take all of her money out in the form of salary, that means that she's going to have to pay Medicare and Social Security taxes on the full amount of that income. So let's say she makes, I don't know, let's say she makes $200,000 a year, and let's say 150. Well, okay, so let's say 200,000 times, let's see, I don't know, I'm just doing rough numbers here. Let's say she has to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes are approximately 15% per year. So that's a significant amount of money. It's $330,000 if you're taking all of that in the form of a salary. Whereas if you're taking, let's say you move all of that income over to New Trends Publishing, for instance, and now you're taking $150,000 in salary, and the other $50,000 is as a distribution to the owner of the company. And now on that $50,000, you do not have to pay the Social Security and Medicare taxes on that. So now you're only paying it on $150,000 instead. So now you've just saved yourself $7,500 from a very simple tax strategy. So that certainly would be one motivation for not having, structuring your entities in this way. And it's what any good entrepreneur and small business person would do. It's a very simple thing to set up, and I'm sure that her financial advisors helped her to create this kind of organization. Now, another thing that she is most likely doing, and I don't have any certain knowledge of this other than the fact that just to my eye, she has created these organizations in her advisors have helped her set up an intelligent structuring of her entities, intelligent in the sense that she's going to minimize her tax liability, which again, there's definitely nothing, there's nothing shady about doing any of this. From a legal standpoint, from a tax strategy standpoint, it's all very common and certainly legitimate. Again, it's just I raise it because I raise the issue because, again, everybody seems to want to operate under the illusion that this is all being done for altruistic purposes, which it clearly is. Clearly, it's not the case. If her advisors, if she has good advisors, and it seems that she does, then I think it's safe to say that the Weston A. Price Foundation also pays some consulting fees to, like perhaps this consulting fee of $2,700 could have been paid to New Trends Publishing in 2010. I don't know, a consulting staff, that's not very descriptive. Um, that could be another fee that, $25,000 in research. That's a very strange round number. That could be another that was paid to New Trends Publishing or perhaps to somebody else. I don't know. I'm definitely not making any concrete claims about what's being done. All I'm saying is that would be a wise way to go if to minimize your or to distribute income throughout, to use different entities that you have ownership of, using them together in order to again minimize your tax liabilities. So I think it's safe to say that there's definitely some of that going on. Now, another whole separate point to discuss is this entire source of income that they have as donations or grants. Without even getting into any of the details about that, $317,000 in 2010 from donations and grants is pretty significant. Whereas now, if this was not a 501c3, how many donations and grants would they be? I think it's safe to say that they'd probably be getting half of that amount, and of course it would come in a different form. And basically, those donations and grants are, they're comparable to advertising, and they say straight out that although many of our members are farmers, so clearly some of the people making these donations and grants are farmers who have a vested interest in somebody publishing and promoting the message of, buy grass-fed beef, buy from independent farmers and artisans, not by industry. Okay, sure, they're not advocates for sorry about that. They're not advocates for factory farming, certainly not, but they are certainly advocates for these independent farmers and artisans, and they make no claims to the contrary, though they, want to make it seem like it's just helping a neighbor or whatever, when of course it's a, it's a business deal, what's going on here. And the other thing about that is, let's say 50% of these donations and grants are coming from individuals just like you and me. I think that's pretty generous to say it's that amount, but let's just say, for the sake of conversation, that's what it is. Now I have an incentive to give a donation or grant to the Weston A. Price Foundation because, hey, it's tax deductible. I can take that and claim it on my tax return as a deduction, whereas before I was not going to do that. Maybe if I wanted to, buy $100 in books or whatever from Sally Fallon, then that's just a straight loss to me. I can't do anything about that on my tax return. Whereas a $100 gift to them, well, now I get to deduct it. So just another reason that it was a wise choice for them to set themselves up as a 501c3. And again, let's not live in fantasy land, okay? That's the whole point of this video, that this is not set up as a nonprofit corporation just because they had no ulterior motives for financial gain. I certainly hope that's becoming clear at this point, and it should be clear if you do 2 seconds of thinking about it. So wrapping up now this whole idea, the big picture view of this, and this won't sit well with any kind of Weston A. Price Foundation advocate, fan, consumer. But basically, the Weston A. Price Foundation is it's a giant advertising campaign for Sally Fallon's nutritional ideology. And she is making money. She is making her living. She's making a very damn good living selling you on this ideology. What you have in the Weston A. Price Foundation is a corporation set up as a nonprofit, very wisely set up as a nonprofit, in order to garner certain tax benefits. But the foundation serves as a advertising and publicity wing for instance, New Trends Publishing and whatever other methods Sally has of making money that she can put in her own bank account instead of having it has to be restricted to the foundations. Sally Fallon and all these people associated with her have basically done what any good entrepreneur would do, and that is they've gone out and found a niche and they are selling it for all it's worth. And there's nothing that she's doing that is any different from what the rest of corporate and small business America is doing, what any other entrepreneur would do. But again, if the disgusting part of it comes in with this, with fostering this image of just being out there as a altruistic advocate for truth in diet and nutrition. And I think as we start to review some of those issues over coming videos, that will make itself more clear. But I just wanted to lay the foundation here for dispelling this idea that this is some kind of charitable educational organization. This is a business, people, and if you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. You certainly should see it. It certainly should be clear, and there's no reason not to see it. I mean, it's all right here. They make it clear right on their website, don't they? But people just don't want to see it. Nothing new there. You know, that's the thing. It's the American way. You can't be just satisfied with selling your product. You have to put the best shine on it that you can. It's basically the American way to call a turd a fudge popsicle and sell it at an upcharge. And that's what we've got here. We've got people that are running a business. I mean, this whole dressing themselves up as altruistic bearers of truth in diet and nutrition. Okay, you know, I even setting aside if what I'm saying about implying that they're the truths that they're bringing are false, even laying that aside, at least be objective enough to recognize the fact that this is not simply nothing more than altruism, that there is a very strong business motive behind all of this, and that in itself calls into question, in my mind, and it should in yours too, it calls into question why the whole charade with trying to dress yourself up as being nothing more than about education and truth in diet and nutrition, when it is so very clearly about business and money. That's it for this time. Thanks for listening.